Hey everybody, I'm going to do a quick recap of the day, February 26th, on 4 different topics. First is BEPRO, BET protocol. Second is the whole market, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, real quick. And then I'll address a question somebody had on my previous YouTube video about how do I know it won't go 5x and go to 0, and then we'll wrap up. So oh, and then the fifth thing, or the fourth thing, is actually the first thing I'm going to do here, and that is to, I guess, correct something I wanted to do yesterday, but on the fly I wasn't able to figure it out because I typically use TradingView. But anyway, so yesterday I talked about moving averages and the lines and setting them up, but I also mentioned EMAs are preferred, and I'm not joking, they are more powerful. So when I was on the Bitcoin chart yesterday, that 20 moving average, the simple, it moves more slowly than the exponential. So what the difference is that exponential moving averages, so let's say you have the 21, and what that means is, let's say it's the daily candles 21, it means it's taking whatever you select as the open, close, or the average price, or some fancy ones can take the very middle point of each candle, which would be a pretty good way to do it, but the features here aren't as advanced. But anyway, it takes 21 days, and here it's where it closes. So the simple moving average is literally it's a simple average, just like you are taught in 4th grade or whenever how to do that. But the exponential moving averages, it considers more recent price more strongly. So that's why when price is going up, the EMAs will be over the SMAs, but also when price starts falling, the EMAs will cross below the SMAs, and the SMAs kind of still keep going up as the EMAs are going down, particularly on lower time frames, not usually the weekly, unless you're looking at a 6-month move or something. But that's a rough explanation of the difference between the two, and I would highly suggest you use the EMAs because when I talked about Bitcoin on my video yesterday, that was the simple moving average, so it's moving more slowly, so it's actually way lower. So looking at Bitcoin, which we will here in a bit, the EMA is going to be a lot higher, and it could already be around 33. It could be a lot higher, which would mean it's more likely that we might hit it this time. But we'll get into that here a little later. So anyway, so the EMAs on KuCoin, you get for each coin you have to do it again. It kind of sucks. It doesn't just keep the format across. You switch markets. You have to redo it. It's really silly. Hopefully the Chinese fix that. But anyway, so I want 4 EMAs, and so I clicked this one here 4 times. I didn't like the other ones, and so when I clicked it 4 times, these 4 here appeared, and then I simply, so it allows you to see simple moving averages and exponential moving averages together. And on things like the 2-hour or above up to the week, it's kind of useful to see crosses on the 21 and the 50. Like I said earlier, the EMAs cross above when a move's going up, and when there's a slowdown, the EMAs will go down. And a lot of times they will go around when there's indecisiveness in the market. So I didn't, for the 10, which is I choose as red always, I didn't use the simple. So what I did here as a setup is so see how this is all the way over this way for small line for the moving average, and the EMA I chose to be all the way big. So yellow is typically 21 moving average, and you could pick whatever colors you want. Just always keep them the same, so it's like, you know, a golf swing or a baseball swing. You just it's muscle memory or eyeball memory. And also, if you like dark mode, always stay on dark mode, night mode instead of light mode. But anyway, for the so the simple moving average I have as small, and the EMA is big because the EMA is more important. And the reason, so for the 50, I chose the simple moving average is 50, the EMA is 55. So that's sort of to balance it out, because the EMA moves so much faster. It's nice to see a little bit more time, so actually tries to move it slower, right? So the more numbers, the more slowly it moves, but because the EMA moves faster, I choose a slightly bigger number. And a lot of traders do trade off of the 50 simple, so that's why traders who prefer the EMA, they make the number slightly higher. So for the 20 on the simple, I chose 20, and then the EMA I chose 21. So and over here for the EMA, so I kind of did it flip-flop. Here I don't want to explain why, but the 89 EMA is really important, and the simple 100 is really important, so I just put both of them. And the thin purple line is going to be the moving average for the 100. So anyway, so that's that one. So BEPRO in general, I mean, there's not a lot to say. And on the 1 hour chart, it's above its 10. I mean, this could go a lot higher. So if you want to get perspective on how high this could go, just for funsies, right? So this is not financial advice. I'm just a guy, random dude on the internet making videos for fun, right? So if you want to get an idea of how high this could go, I'm going to have to make this stuff smaller. And so let's look at 𝐻𝐼𝐞𝐾oin. And this, so down here you can see how much price history this is. So this goes back to 2014. So the last run when Bitcoin fell from 1,300 to 186 or something, this is 𝐻𝐼𝐞oin versus the US dollar. So this is not versus Bitcoin. So when coins go versus Bitcoin, during the next run, they typically hit the same high, go back down, hit the same high, go back down, although the price is going way higher the entire time, but Bitcoin is too, so it typically peters out at the same height every time. So it's really good to trade altcoins versus BTC pairing, because if you don't know how high this is going to go, well, you can pretty much tell on the BTC pairing chart. Anyway, but real quick here, on a percentage basis, it's just insane, right? Look at this. Look at this. 230,000%. 𝐻𝐼𝐞oin. 230,000%. Now, historically, I've done a lot of math on different altcoins, and usually it doesn't go, once something sees an insane run, the next run won't be that big. And if you look at Bitcoin, the same principle applies. So I would guess this might hit like a 70,000. If I just had a guess, without looking at this, and I am just taking a guess, I really don't know what it's going to equate to, but let's, so the run would be what, 3 times less on a percentage basis. Well, that was actually that was a damn good guess, right in the middle of where I think it's going to hit. That was good. Maybe I did do this before and I just remember the number. Maybe I'm lying to myself here. But yeah, so a lot of things align here. So first off, 70,000% here, which is monster. It lands around here, but watch. I drew, see these white lines? I drew these in March of 2020. Look down here, so down at the bottom of the screen there. So there's a white line going like this, and once it went like this, see that big drop? I actually put some buy orders down here because as it approached this line, I almost knew that somebody would dump it just below, and I almost knew it wasn't gonna, and I was guessing where it might come down. So my line actually was about like that. I thought it was going to go a little lower, but I readjusted it after. I made a guess. But anyway, so anyway, I had some buy orders down here. Not very many though. I had a lot over here too. And so I was buying pretty heavily around 18 cents because I didn't know if it was going to do that and then come back down, and therefore my line would have been correct. So I did some buy here, but when I did buy was when it came up and went back down and made a higher low. I was buying real heavy around here, like the 18-24 cent range in 2020. And then, but also since I saw it so low here in early 2020, I was buying here as well. But anyway, on a percentage basis, so if we go back to BEPRO, kind of racing thoughts here, I apologize, but to get an idea, and I made a comment to somebody, or maybe the same question about how do I know this won't go to 0. That's partly why, but that's only 5,000%. That's to 1.7 cents. Okay, so like I said on that comment on YouTube, you won't even see this on the radar once it's done. So let's just pick, you know, kind of a small number for its first run, like maybe 70,000. Well, I'm picking from current price, so I got to pick from about here. So that is, we're only at 6,000, right? Keep going. About, it's a little high. Hold on. Right there. Now we're at 28,000, puts us at 28 cents, or 20 cents. So that's only 28,000. Keep going. Way. So now I'm going to be like, you know, I don't think I'm going to be able to see. Then go pee. My 3-year-old asks for permission to pee every time. Why is it saying negative 20-something thousand? Anyway, so now we're only at 12,000 now, and that puts us under $1. So this could go way higher, and now you can see it's at the bottom of the chart, and you can't even tell that we're having a run. And so just to show you this, you know, a coin that is not its competitor to BEPRO, and I don't know if it's on KuCoin, I'll just use TradingView, is Phantom. I don't know which one to choose, sorry. Yeah, okay, we can use this, I think. It was lower than this. This isn't the right one to use. So maybe I'll use coin market cap. But, so I think that this could do everything that Phantom has done. No results for Phantom. Why not? Stop having errors. There you are. Okay, check this out. Just watch this. So Phantom right now is at 1.3 billion market cap, okay? All right. Now, and it was born during the bear market, which is, those are the, in my opinion, that's the coins I've been buying, apart from Bitcoin, but and a couple of others. But anyway, born during the market because they're not getting the hype. They're not crazy overvalued like Cardano is. And so if you look down here where I'm moving my cursor, oh, why can't you see the market cap there? Why isn't it giving me a market cap? Well, you son of a gun. Well, I checked it out earlier. Maybe if I go down like this. Well, I'm not for sure why it's not giving it to me, but I looked at it earlier. The market cap was around 5 million. 5 million market cap around here 2019, okay? And then, and now it's at, look, 1.3 billion, okay? So let's do some math, right? Okay, so this is 1.3 billion divided by 5 million cap. And so what this math does is it tells you how many times your money goes up. So if you had $100 and you bought it when it was 5 million cap in 2019, the number that is about to show up, you multiply 100 by this next number, by 260. So your $100, you know, is $26,000 now. All right, so how would you become a millionaire doing that? It doesn't take a lot of money. It doesn't take a lot of money to go up 1,000 times from $1,000 would make you a millionaire. But still, if you put 1,000 in there, you know, and then, you know, times 260, you have $250,000 freaking dollars, and plenty of people, you know, buying Phantom. They now have $250,000, and what can they do now? They can take that money, you know, cash out half of it, and then buy other small alts like BEPRO, and do that again. I mean, you can make millions and millions and millions of dollars with small cap coins during a run. I'm telling you, it is where the money is at. Buying Cardano is, is not going to do that for you. I'll just say that. I know there are a lot of Cardano fans, but so that's the first part. And then the next thing is the market here. Let's go to Bitcoin. I think I always pick Bitfinex. Yeah. Okay. So for general purposes, how I set my graph, these green lines here are the origin lines. They go back to the beginning of Bitcoin, and it's hard to pull it up, but I don't think TradingView has a way to do it. But these lines, when you go back even to 2009, it connects. It connects. So, and the reason I have two is kind of because highs and lows. So you can see here how the line that connects to the bottom here, that was support, it becomes resistance. So if you zoom in here, this support then became resistance here, resistance there. See how, look how perfectly it hit that. Look at that. Look at this. And then it almost hit it there. It almost hit it there. And then it just busted through. So 4 times the charm, right? That's how the saying goes. And the bottom one is support. So look how this one was support then resistance. Well, then this probably will become support and then resistance, down the road. So let's see what's happening. Well, lo and behold, resistance. So these lines are a big deal. And I was the absolute first person in the whole world to call this drop with timing. So a lot of people knew it was going to drop. But the timing, I was 48 hours off. And I knew it was going to hit this origin line and probably drop. And because if it did not get above its weekly 10, and since everything was so flat here, even the 4-hour and daily, all the lines were converging here, and it was just pointing and sandwiching down to the origin line. And I knew if it didn't pop up even on a 4-hour, I knew it was going to drop. And I made decent money shorting that. I didn't short it far enough though. I think I shorted it like to here because I got scared that I was going to lose all my earnings. But anyway, and then so these origin lines are important, and most people aren't aware of them. So just a heads up, if you want to track the market, you need to put in your origin lines because it's a big deal. So now you can see how this top resistance was resistance at 14. So why do you think we went to 14,000? Why do you think the candles of the weekly of the week are hitting it? We only wicked above it. The candle bodies is what tells the real story. This just tells how many bullets were fired. This is the battle, and it's perfect resistance on, almost perfect resistance on it. And there's a reason, because that line, people know, and people with a lot of money know. Now, to know it would go straight up to 14,000 without even, without regard to 6,000, all of this level, I was shocked. That was insane. But anyway, so these origin lines are a big deal. All right. So anyway, so based off of that, we are flirting with one, and I guess we did hit off that. All right, so yeah, I guess I did try shorting that, but I got stopped out pretty fast. But I guess that would have been. I guess I should have tried it a second time. But anyway, I haven't looked at Bitcoin in a while. So what I'm seeing here, this is the weekly candle. So this is where major macro calls are made. So what I think will happen is a lot of times in a bull run, it hits red, yellow. So let's look, I just drew a line. Let's look at what it did here. So past all-time high here. So, well, no, it's kind of like red, yellow. And when it was coming out, it was just riding the 21 weekly. But in bull markets, Actually, it just made one huge run and then hit the yellow. So we might, so since we already hit the red once here, the 10 simple, or 10 EMA, this is exponential, the likelihood of hitting this is pretty high. And so what the bots are going to be doing on BitMEX, especially in Binance, places that have the leverage, they pretty much hold the keys because they have huge incentive to do things in ways that make it so leveraged traders don't make money and they get to keep their money or make money off of traders trading in the wrong direction. So you always have to think about what their incentive is going to be and how they're going to drive their bots, because you know, if you knew how much Bitcoin exchanges had, you would probably be disgruntled and not want to trade Bitcoin ever. And it is very crazy how you know, back here at 10,600, I got stopped out, and it wasn't supposed to happen. It's just because it was the bots. I think this should be about, no, it was this one. No, it was 10,000. It was here. So yeah, so what happened here, if I remember correctly, I saw this writing this, and I knew, hey, this is going up. And I put a long here around 10.6, right? And it started going up. But what happened was, boom, it crashed down, stopped me out, and I wasn't looking. And then it went straight up to like 12, you know, it went up to almost 12, yeah, I think, yeah. Within a matter of hours, it was stupid. And I would have made like $40,000 if I would have held it to the all-time high. I probably wouldn't have held it this high. I would have sold it at 20, but to re-enter later. But it screwed me out of a lot of money, and I was just kind of mad, and I didn't get back in. But just so you know, when you're looking at Bitcoin, you have to take exchanges into consider. They have a lot of money, they have a lot of Bitcoin, and in addition to that, they have a lot of incentive to make it so you don't make money. So just know that you have to play by their rules. So it kind of goes to along the saying, if you can't beat them, join them. So don't try to beat the market. You know, you will lose all your money if you're using leverage. If you're just buying and holding, you won't, but unless you sell at wrong times. But anyway, so with the mentality of origin lines, and if you can't beat them, join them, this is kind of what I'm thinking here. This is the EMA. So the simple was down lower. I think it was around 24 when I did it yesterday on KuCoin. So what I anticipate happening is it will hit the yellow this time. So what I think we will see is, I am guessing that price will wait to hit the yellow until it comes around here. And so these weeks, so it has 1, 2, 3 weeks of support and of resistance and 1 week of support. So that's 4 weekly candles. That's huge. So what's probably going to happen is, I think, 40% chance, out of all the chances, like even Bitcoin goes to 0, right? So huge, monster likelihood, and 40 is really high in terms of all possible, universes and all that kind of stuff, and multiverses of trading. But I think price is going to keep going sideways until April, maybe till April, maybe only March. But you're not going to see Bitcoin go above 56,000 for a while. It's going to be about a month, or it could be May. It could just go like this. And if it does it, that's great, because it's going to really ping off hard and go to, it could make a base to go straight to $250,000. But anyway, so what this is congruent to, this check, this resistance here, it's hitting the 1 trillion cap. So the reason why it respected this so much is because that's 1 trillion cap, and that's a big psychological number for traders, and they sold. So should I have seen that coming? Yeah, but I didn't anticipate it. But that's what this is. So when people say, what's the news? What made it? No, it's not news. It's people trading. News doesn't move Bitcoin anymore. That's so 2017 mentality. Don't look for freaking news. It's in the charts, everybody. It's math and it's numbers now. News can drive small alts and some big alts too sometimes, but in regard to Bitcoin, monetary coins like Bitcoin Cash, news isn't going to drive it. News has only driven Bitcoin Cash once when it was getting listed on Coinbase. And insiders knew it was going to happen, so they bought the crap out of it, and then other people leaked, it got leaked or whatever, or it got announced in a week, and then everybody drove it up to like 5,000 or 3,000 bucks, 3,200 bucks, whatever Bitcoin Cash. So news can drive it, but it's very rare, and news doesn't drive Bitcoin. It's not going to drive Bitcoin. So when you see those YouTubers saying stuff like, you know, it's for clickbait, they know it's not the news, but their viewers, you know, just like the news, you know, whether you're a conservative or a liberal, regardless of whether you realize this or not, your news is giving you what you want to hear. They don't care about the truth. They want to give you the news you want to hear, so you keep buying their stuff or making clicks and driving advertisements, and that's what YouTubers are doing too. They're in it for the revenue. So I'm here to tell you the truth. This isn't news, so stop looking for news. Just understand that YouTubers are saying that because they are giving their viewers what they want, which is fine. That's reasonable business. I don't roll that way. Now, if I made $50,000 a month off my revenue of YouTube, maybe I would. I would probably cross over to the dark side and lie to my people, because that's a lot of incentive to do that. Give your viewers what you want. If you have a lot of, so, you know, I don't judge them at all, because I could absolutely see myself doing the same way. But anyway, here we go. So I think working here, this origin line, we're going to pass it. We're going to cross down, most likelihood, and as this creeps up, let's just say it keeps the same angle here right up to there. So see how this see how the price line moving up, the horizontal line right here matches up to here. Okay, so just keep this roughly the same slope until that horizontal line touches the three resistance and one support, so the 4 weekly bodies, and price is going to tag it probably right there, middle of March. So it might not take a month. Maybe I'm wrong. So if I had to guess, it's going to be right here exactly, like on that date, potentially. Actually, no, this is by the weekly, so it's skipping by sevens. I don't know if I could figure that out this way. I don't know. It's going to be around that time, around the middle of March. So it could be, you know, March 22nd or March 11th. But it's since we're jumping by sevens, it's going to be March 15th plus or minus 5 days. Is in my opinion the most likely scenario to play out. And so the bots do that. You know, because the exchanges have a lot of money, and you just have to know what the bots are doing. You got to play by their rules. So, I mean, long in Bitcoin, once it hits this is the EMA, not the simple again. Once it hits that, that's a good move. And so since bots also know, or since the exchanges know everybody's looking at it, they know, they might flash crash the price. I mean, down to 26,000 bucks, and it'll pop right back up because they don't want you making money off your long. They want you to get out, and then it'll go up. And a lot of times it happens right as Americans are going to sleep, and before Japanese are actually trading and South Koreans are trading. They do it on purpose, and it's at the exact time. If you look historically, it's just a middle finger over and over. They do it on purpose. It's calculated, and I think it's coordinated across exchanges too. So, you know, is it safe to long it like right there? I mean, yeah, if you put in a tight stop, so you can only lose like up to 2, 3, 4, 5% of your bags that you have in leverage, but it could flash crash, you know. So what did I say? Maybe around 38,000. Yeah, it could crash 8,000 bucks. And then come right back up. So just a heads up. That's what I think the most likelihood situation is. The flash crash, I don't think it's super likely. What I think is perhaps more likely is that price goes sideways, 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 and then it flash crashes to the 21 so that no one can long it. That's more common in bull markets because it's too much risk for the exchanges to crash it below, because as they're selling, they might screw themselves. If somebody with a lot of money who's not an exchange goes against it and they overcome them, the exchange has lost a lot of money. So I think it's too risky for them to try to crash it below. But what I think is it's way less risky for them to crash it to it. So to keep it here, or even go up a little bit and keep it here and then go boom, boom. So let's see if we can find an example of that. I mean, I guarantee I can. Let's see here. Right there. Look at this. 11, so September 2017. Look at that. Flash crash to it, and then it went up the rest of the way. Didn't ever touch it again. Look at that. That is what I think could happen. However, it is kind of likely that we just rest on it. So this is totally likely as well. And this is a fractal. So fractal means what happened last time on a percentage basis and all that good stuff. So we pinged off the high, went down, and then from the bottom of that lowest candle, but the body of it, to that high is 210%. And then it rested on the 21. So let's see, I have an idea that this could be around when we crossed the high, went down. So we didn't really go down, we just charged through it. So let's say equivalent maybe here, 220, well, no crap, 245%. So if this turns out to be a fractal, this would rest on it. So you'd have plenty of time to buy the 21. And then the next time it does it, as we're, going, I don't know, maybe 129,000 or so, it could crash like $40,000 to touch it and then go up to where I assume it's going to hit. I think it's going to hit under 300,000 bucks. Above 200,000 and below 300,000. The likelihood of going above this white line is very low, even though we have more, Bitcoin has more institutional money in it. I just don't see it happening. If it does, that'd be great. And if it does, that'd be a good time to start selling. Because when has it been above the white line? Do you see a time? No, I don't either. If it does go above the white line, so this is logarithmic. I forgot to say it. Logarithmic chart. So to change it, you right click. Oh God, I don't know. You need to on logarithmic. So if this were linear, it would go off the screen immediately. This here would be 15 monitors up, right? So this is logarithmic, which is kind of like exponential, but it essentially it smooths things out in this direction, like this. But you can't really tell. But anyway. So that's what I'm thinking on the market right now. So good points to get in. Not with leverage. I'm not suggesting leverage to anybody, but if you just want to hold your US dollars in Coinbase or something and put in buy orders around 39,000 bucks, that's probably a pretty good somewhere between 38 and 39.5. That's probably a good choice. And then that would be a good time to move, if you're an altcoin person like me, that would be a good time to move into your altcoins again, unless there's something like BEPRO pumping, then you might want to keep it in there. So you can join our team. If you can't beat us, join us, right? So anyway, but what I do is from Coinbase, if I, get a bonus check from work, which I didn't really do any work this week because I've been too focused on cryptocurrency. I waited 4 years for this, but what I do is I buy Litecoin because Litecoin is so fast to send to exchanges and it's so cheap. Like $1,000 to send. I think it costs around 60 cents. I calculated it the other day. It's 55, 60 cents, and it takes on average 12 minutes. I've literally stopwatched it over and over and took an average. It takes about 12 minutes to get approved so you can actually sell it on the other exchange, like from Coinbase to KuCoin. So anyway, that's why I think it's important, at least for me, to look at Litecoin. And I have orders around, what do I have them? I think they're around 130. So here's why. So because of the 21. So I think Litecoin will have a flash crash down to 130. And it might flash crash below because when Bitcoin does something, Litecoin does it harder. And so if Bitcoin does come here and lands, Litecoin often goes here. It often does. Although you can see here throughout this whole run, it has respected the weekly 10 simple almost perfectly. So here it went under, but maybe it won't go under. So I might have to bump my order. Yeah, 129, 130. And sometimes Litecoin is the first mover. So if I see it doesn't hit it, I will just bump my buy orders up to maybe 138 as this approaches. So I'll probably keep my buy orders, change them every 4 or 5 days or something, or every Friday, whatever, as this comes up. So I don't miss out, because I don't want it to flash crash down and touch it, which is a possibility, even though it might ride it for 3 weeks, honestly. But I don't want to miss out, so I want to keep raising them if this keeps creeping up. And then, let's see here, what was the other thing I wanted to talk about? I think I covered everything. So anyway, that's what I have for today. That's where I see the market. So in summary, I think that's going to be slow and boring for a month. This is going to be sideways and down for a month until about here. So just save money and don't lose your money trading and stuff. This is going to be slowing down, and I think the likelihood of that is extremely high for this to happen. But then again, Bitcoin, it could hit the we do have Bitcoin has a lot of institutional money in it, so it might ping right off this just like it did here. It could do the same thing. So and since the 10 simple does meet up right now with these 4 things, so look at this. The chance of that flash crashing to touch it and then going up to 76,000 before it comes back down. So if it skyrockets to like 80, let's say 80,000, that'll make this move a little faster, and then it could come touch it as it meets the origin line, and that happens a lot. So when 2 things, so maybe that will happen. Maybe it will only hit this time, because this is lining up perfectly. So maybe this will be fast. So this might happen late this week or early next week. It might just go boom to the red, come up, and that will allow this yellow line to come meet the origin line, and then it might flash crash down and touch it, or go below it, or just ride it. So I think those are equal probabilities, so I kind of changed my mind now that I'm doing it a different way. So that's kind of my summary on everything, and good luck in crypto, stay safe, and don't put in more money than what you're willing to lose, especially in altcoins. Ethereum and Bitcoin, you're fairly safe, but even Bitcoin went down 70%. It was a 72% correction, so, you lose a lot of money. But be safe out there, and we'll see you next time.